All right, it's Flavor Fix Day with Samantha Starr. I'm your host, bringing you all the culinary delights and foodie things. I have some very special guests with me today. How y'all doing? I'm
Great, doing
good.
great.
And you can move the mics up if you like. Get comfortable, get adjusted. Thank you for tuning in to Flavor Fix on WNOV 860, 106.5 FM, The Voice. I have Chef Gregory Leon from Amalinda and Rick Rodriguez, who is one of our favorite local food enthusiasts, food connoisseurs.
Food enthusiast is what I use.
Yeah, enthusiast. Well, thank you all for tuning into the camera, one behind you. If you're tuning in on the radio, shout out to you all who are viewing live on Facebook and live on YouTube TV. I'm going to get us started. Rick is going to kick us off today because he'll be leaving us a little early. So we're going to go down the foodie lane today for this first hour and learn a little bit about how he gets through and dines through Milwaukee and all the things. You wanna kick us off with an introduction?
Sure. Yep. Milwaukee, grew up in River West, a couple blocks from Kane, College of Whitewater.
It's been a lot of generals through here the last.
Good. It's a good thing. It's good. Actually, say which one, but yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
It'll be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Milwaukee, live in Milwaukee, worked in school for the last 16 or so years. Um, it was my first Atlanta training, and while we were there, classmates said, "Hey, let's go get some dinner." And so we went to a Moroccan restaurant, Imperial Fez. Had this conversation with Paul Frederick, Lori Frederick, who's been Imperial Fez. Walked in, our shoes at the entrance.
Mhm.
We sat on pillows on the floor, low table. They brought a towel to us with warm water to wash our hands at the table. Musicians, live dancers, their hands. I
Wow.
was in my early 20s.
What
And-
year was this?
I was in my early 20s, and that was my first experience where I thought, okay, that was where I learned the difference between dining and dining experience.
Mhm.
And I was obsessed with it, and I wanted to find that. And I thought, okay, when I get back home, I got to figure out, do we have anything like this? And if not, what do we have? And that was just experiences and the best tasting food. So
Yeah. What?
restaurant in Atlanta,
a restaurant in Atlanta.
Started the quest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, you mentioned one of the first people who brought you to that experience. Anybody else kind of bring you into, I guess, from a Milwaukee perspective?
Yeah, it was really.
Yeah.
When I came back from that trip, I started looking online what restaurants did we have, what types of experiences. Give away my age. I know.
You don't have
No,
to.
it was about 30 years ago. You know, this happened. So obviously, the Milwaukee dining scene has exploded. And I think one of the first I became friends with was Becker. I started learning a little bit about food and his passion for differences. great ingredients versus when you go to like a chain, whatever wholesale stuff they get. But I was at a jazz festival, the Third Ward Jazz Festival, and I was with some friends, and we decided to get some dinner.
Mm.
This restaurant, so we went to. My friend Dave said, he said, Rick, there's a lot of the great flavor in town. I thought it was a brilliant idea. I ran for about 13 years. Friends together every month. Restaurant. I'd meet with the chefs and owners, talk about, what weekday they want us to come in, and they want us to do food, whatever was going to help. And then I bring a group in, and we started out with about 25 people, and all of a sudden done, I was up 60 people in an email list, and then it just started getting difficult because I had people canceling on me or trying to add in, or all these. We have a beef dish, chicken dish. Well, I'm gluten free, I'm dairy free, and I'm this free. I'm done with this.
That was too much.
Dinner club, not fun anymore. And a few years after I started that, I was a member of the Young Professionals of Milwaukee, branch off the Area Chamber of Commerce. And I joined a group called the Downtown. Sherry Tron, whom you know, she led that for a while, and then she kind of suggested I lead it the following year. So I had even more chefs and restaurant owners. It just kind of over the years, and I just want to support them and help support small business. So that's kind of what me, I guess, addicted to helping support small independent restaurants.
So how do you think Milwaukee contributes to, I guess, the culture of the community, Milwaukee food scene, I would say?
Yeah, I mean, our restaurants do have so many supporting. I've literally seen local restaurant owners at farmers markets. It's not just.
Jeff Greg, feel free to chime in.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yeah, no, I see that my brother supports local vendors. Support. So I really see Milwaukee. They're so they're in the community, and it's also a social restaurant. Building relationships. So I really see that as a major impact.
Yeah. Anything to add to?
When you go to the farmers market, the winter farmer market, we also do a lot of work with Alice's Garden. Venus, Miss Venus.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She has some great stuff. So, I agree with you. It's good to go to these markets and then you see other chefs and you're like, okay, it's not all talk.
Yeah.
It's crazy when you see it. It's not. They're walking the walk.
So I just have to ask, how do you pick and choose where you're going, when you're going?
I want to know this. How do you pick and choose, Rick?
Do you have a foodie planner? How does this work? Because you go somewhere everywhere and all throughout Wisconsin and beyond. And I just want to know.
Yeah, it's the tough part is trying to keep up with everything because there's so much happening.
There's a lot.
And I keep hearing how there's a shortage of staff, and I know there's a shortage of staff, but restaurants keep opening. I'm thinking, well, where? But at the end of the day, I'm finding out about the onmilwaukee.com and Shepherd Express and JS Online, and some of it is even there's a lot of restaurants, and I keep a on my phone or where do I want to go. It's been a while. I'm like, all right, when's the last time I went to Amalinda? I'm doing a visit there. So I goes in my calendar so I don't forget about it.
You really write down when you go to the restaurants?
I don't write down when I write down if I know I need to add them to my list. I don't forget about them, and I get there as soon as I can.
Yeah.
And then it's really I'm alone a lot because most of the time it's like I'm just around town, I'm shopping, I'm doing this, I'm doing running errands. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Where am I? And what's on my list that's around here? I'm like, you know what? That's where I'm going to go today.
Right.
So it's arbitrary to an extent. I look at my list, I'm like, where haven't I been, and where am I? And I'll go that way. And there's friends who want to meet up and catch up and go to dinner. And I was doing too much of that. So I'm going to do a little bit less. But and then it's where do they want to go? And sometimes they want to get to location. Yeah. That's why I kind of prefer just once I get to these new places.
Yeah. You don't want to sit around and wait for anybody.
It's not so much sitting around and waiting for them. It's just I want a new experience. I want a new experience.
You're a rarity because I don't know a lot of people who
I love eating by
myself. I really like it. I don't do it a lot because I don't go out to a lot of restaurants other than my own. But some people they'll come in like, oh, I feel weird sitting at the kitchen.
No. So what's your preference? It depends on the day. Like, you're gonna sit at the bar or you're gonna sit at the table.
I'll sit where pull me.
Yeah,
pull me at a bar. It does.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people say they get better service at the bar because the bartender is a little bit more active, more proactive. I guess in theory, people guess the server who's like covering different tables, depending on the size of the restaurant, of course.
Yeah, sometimes for me, I guess, like you said, but it also depends on my mood. So, like, if I'm not feeling like the bar hype with people talking to you and wanting to engage, and I'm like, just give me a table. I want to eat in peace, and then I want to go.
That's a good point, and I never think about that. If there's an opening at the bar, I'll sit there, and if somebody strikes a conversation, they strike a conversation, and it normally happens after like, oh, what's that? And then that's when the conversation starts.
Yeah. My social radar can go down really quickly, surprisingly. But I love that time to just be like with myself and just eat and chill.
Absolutely.
So, do you cook, Rick?
I get
I gotta ask everybody who's on this show.
And the answer is a little bit.
What have you made? Because I haven't had any.
He made mofongo one year for Christmas.
So Christmas, I didn't make those. So I brought my salads, and then you had the Venezuelan version of them.
And then you made.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
one
thing. Little.
Where's mine?
Right. Like, yeah. Exactly. One of my, I guess, was paella. I love paella. And in the kitchen, used to do cooking classes, and I took a class there with Chef Nicolas. And I do have a paella. Nice. Ooh. As soon as right after I took the class, I went online and I ordered a pan immediately because I'm not gonna lose her.
Like a big one? Do you have a big one?
It was 13-inch.
I hate making.
It's a lot of work.
Tell us about the paella pan.
It's expensive.
What is?
So they
carbon fiber.
Yeah, it's a carbon fiber.
Can you share with the listeners what paella is for those who might not know?
Yep, good call. So paella is essentially a rice dish that I believe originated.
It comes from Valencia, Spain.
Favorite version of it, but the story goes, and you could the farmers, whomever would just grab whatever ingredients they had access to and throw it all together and make a rice dish with it, and that's how it came about.
I was like, my struggle meals.
It's good.
It's delicious.
You'll have a bunch of seafood, and then it'll either have chicken or rabbit.
I love paella.
Yeah, I like making mine with chicken, pork tenderloin, and chorizo, and then I'll garnish it with shrimp and mussels.
That sounds good. Yeah, what about you? What kind do you like?
What kind do
I
like?
love a seafood paella.
We usually either do chicken or rabbit, Spanish chorizo, and then we'll do shrimp, squid, mussels, clams, scallops. But it's not my favorite.
It's a lot of work. And it
is a lot of work.
It's saffron. That's not an inexpensive ingredient. if you don't use saffron, then why bother making paella?
It's just
Then
white
it's just
rice
rice.
with
Then it's just
stuff
rice.
in it.
Then it's just stuff.
Yeah.
I want to hear a little bit about your food journey when you were just in Italy, right?
Yeah. My first trip to Europe, Italy was top of my bucket list. And, I ate a lot. I visited a lot of cities, crammed it all in. Just I was there, but
Mhm.
yeah, I think my favorite meal was one of my favorite meals was the in Florence, the Florence steak,
Mm.
and it comes from a specific breed of cow that is there, and it's cooked rare, and you have to eat it. You ask them well any other way. That's
Oh.
um, it's huge. I think my cut was 3.5 to 4 inches thick. So it's massive. It's intended.
We go to Dario's restaurant.
I went to Bucamario, where I went to Bucamario for a meal.
Mm.
It was fantastic. Another meal was essentially like a charcuterie place in Rome
Okay.
called E Pizza Caroli that was recommended to me by chocolatier. So she was there before I went there, and it blew my mind. It was a wild game platter, so it was all wild game with Christine and blown. Yeah, it was incredible.
What other desserts?
Oh, I
Dessert
had
stuff.
so
I know
dessert.
you had a lot.
So dessert. One of the things I think was when I was in Sorrento there, and they had a lemon mousse with a lemon jelly in the center, and then it was formed in the shape of a lemon and had yellow coloring to it to make it look like a big lemon. It was incredible. Yeah.
That sounds good.
And then in Amalfi Coast, in the town of Amalfi, there was this little food stall selling cones of seafood. So it was all just fried, various in there too, calamari and octopus, and there was some shrimp and clams in there. That was incredible. So yeah, fantastic.
I want to go out. That's on my bucket list.
Have you been to Italy?
I haven't.
You need to go to Spain and France first.
Yes,
I mean,
definitely Spain.
Spain and Portugal.
Spain and Portugal.
Next
That's what you need to go.
Bye.
Yeah, definitely.
What has been your most, um, I would say, unique travel experience dining like abroad? And we can come back. You can think about that, and we'll come back after this break.
What's your flavor? No, no, tell me what's your flavor?
Brownstone Social Lounge. Welcome here, downtown social lounge for good vibes, good food, offer all day happy hour every Tuesday. $6 wings, $8 flatbreads, drink specials, and more. Essential Tuesday. All essential workers with 10% off their with proof of ID every Tuesday. Kick back with R&B karaoke Thursday, beginning at 7 p.m. Followed by Throwback Thursday. Brownstone Social Lounge. Great food. Great located at 524 North Water Street.
Black history is something to appreciate, celebrate, and participate. It is a mobile app that brings America's best Black-owned radio stations and podcasts from across the country. Also, our digital entertainment. Play OG entertainment for us and by us. Elevate your radio listening and supporting Black radio. Download, log on to audio.com for info and insight.
Looking for my no further. Eat local and visit the shop where you can find everything from delicious organic things, smoked barbecue, to satisfyingly seasoned to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar. Mixed, frozen, and tropical drinks. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue, open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. p.m. and Saturday 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit ShermanFoods.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Sandra Silk, inviting you to tune in to All That Jazz. Join me every Tuesday and Thursday. Enjoy jazz from yesterday and today from 5 till 8 p.m. right here on 860 WNOV 106.5 FM The Voice.
WNOV 860 W293CX 106.5 Milwaukee.
What's your flavor?
Now, back to Flavor with your host, Samantha Starr, on 860 AM and 106.5 FM.
All right, we're back on Flavor Fix on WNOV 860 Voice. I'm joined today by Chef Gregory from Amalinda and Rick Rodriguez, one of our favorite food enthusiasts. We were just talking about some of his most unique dining experiences while traveling. Anything else come to mind? I know you talked about New Orleans. I love New Orleans.
I love going down there and just as I can. There's a lot of they have their own culture. A lot of cities. I'm in. I'm I'm not in this country,
Mhm.
and I just love the hospitality down there. Um, but another one place that came to mind, while it's not too far away, is Chicago, and an opportunity to dine there. And I think we had it was 11 or 13 courses. There's course with painting, and that was really unique. They had a lot of cool presentation. Some items came to us on fire. Some items came to us smoking. Different skewers, different presentations. Just a really, really cool dining experience. And it took a couple hours, of course, but that was a great one. And when I was in San Francisco, there's a place there called State Bird Provisions, and they
You been there, Chef?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
yeah, and they had a menu, but then they also had this restaurant. So I'm like, ordering the menu, I'm grabbing off the cart, and I did go into Chinatown in San Francisco
Mhm.
and had some true dim sum where they're pushing the cart around and you're pointing at things. And it was especially unique because I was with a friend. We were the only two in the restaurant that didn't speak Chinese. Everyone else
Wow.
in there was Chinese. Thankfully, and it was communal settings.
Okay.
We sat at other people, and we go different. The woman there who recognized that we were struggling, and she called the person with the cart over to us, and she asked us what we wanted, and she helped us order and was our guide through it. So that was a really cool experience.
Yeah. I wanted to go back to New Orleans because I love Commander's Palace.
Mhm.
Fantastic.
Now, when you went, did you walk through like the kitchen a little bit?
I don't recall walking through the kitchen. I advanced because I remember he was to find out how.
Oh yeah.
Business casual, wore some
Dress up.
khakis and dress. Then I went in there. It was the first time that the server kind of scolded me, but respectfully, and I appreciated that she did. She called me out, and it was really cool that she did. And I'll tell you the story. I know Greg's here.
Oh.
What happened? What happened?
Why did you get yelled at for?
It's never happened ever except for that time. So I went in there and was told before I went, got to order the turtle soup and you got to order red pudding for dessert. But then for my main course, I was trying to decide what did I want, and there was like a quail dish on there, and it was prepared in the southern way. To me, I thought this doesn't seem like a New Orleans dish to me, and the server said to me, "No, sir, you are wrong."
Whoa.
And then she just explained to me how it was. I'm like, I'll get that. and it was I was really taken. You know what? He knows this menu,
Mhm.
and I have no problem being called out. Thank you for correcting me, and let's get that dish. Would you
Yeah.
recommend it?
Yeah.
How was it? Fantastic.
How was the turtle soup?
The turtle soup was really loved it. Maxie's location for turtle soup on Mardi Gras when they
Okay.
do their Mardi Gras celebrations. it was good. But yeah, just having that experience and being at Commander's Palace and then leaving Street was
Quite the journey.
yeah, yeah. So I've been to New Orleans twice, and I every time I leave there, I have a larger list than when I might have caught.
I think I've been to New Orleans 5 or 6 times, and the last time I went was right before shelter in place. It was March 2020. Literally got back, and a couple of days later, it was like, "Yep, everything's closed."
Yeah.
But that trip was very spontaneous because I saw a flight for like maybe I can't remember, 50 or $75 round trip, and I texted my friends like, "Hey, if you want to go with me, I'm going to eat." For a few days, and we definitely ate our way through New Orleans, but I love it.
My last time I went 2 years ago, I was transitioning from my last position to my current position, and I I wanted to take a week off before I started, but I had some work to finish from the prior position. So I worked like Monday and Tuesday the following week, and I thought, okay, where can I go for 3.5 days? And 3 or 4 cities, and I looked up airfare. And I'm like, all right, looks like I'm going back to New Orleans. So I went back. So it was kind of spontaneous in that I booked the flight like 2 or 3 days before I went because I wouldn't go where I thought I'd have to work in. But
Right. So, you can probably chime in on this next question, but I want to bring it back to local. Why is it so important to patronize and support our local restaurants in our communities?
Well, because the money stays here in the community. It's in our neighborhoods. It's not you're not giving the money to a giant chain. You're giving it to the people in your community. So you're helping support your neighbors because they probably work at that restaurant. You're helping support the city because the restaurant's going to pay taxes. There's a chain reaction when you spend money at a small local independent restaurant. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, the money goes into your pocket. Let me assure you, none of that money goes into my pocket. None whatsoever. It goes to the service, it goes to the cooks, it goes to the purveyors that we buy stuff from. So like the farmers market, and then it goes back to the city in the form of tax revenue. So it's probably one of the best things you can do for the community.
Actually, I was gonna, similar answer in that, yes, the chains are hiring local people and then they're paying taxes, they're supporting local as well. But when you got a local owned restaurant, they have the relationships with local farmers and the urban gardens and all the local suppliers. So then again, supporting local in the local community in an even more impactful way.
And I mean, in some cases, like at least with Amalinda, it helps us then be able to do programs at Hairwell community. When we opened the restaurant, one of the big things I wanted to do was use the restaurant as a restaurant. Also make our community better.
Yeah.
And I don't want to steal Chef Greg's thunder because I know he'll probably talk about this later, but Amalinda has a pop-up and Chef and huge paying it for others who want that opportunity. And, just want to open up a restaurant or start a pop up a concept. Individuals who are from other countries created here, just helping them out. So he's done a lot. And I want to give him a shout out.
Well, thank you very much, Rick.
So, in your eyes, what separates Milwaukee? What sets Milwaukee apart from other cities as far as the dining culture here?
So I think again, it's and say that this is it's a lot of it is the people, and I know in this city in particular, there's a nice. And again, that's not to say it doesn't happen in other cities, but I see it here. It's a tight group, and they all understand what the others going through. They help out each other as much as they can.
Yeah.
Like the only other big city and at the time it was somebody's line cook. So it's not had a window into the relationship amongst all the chefs were.
Yeah.
But I feel like the community have here more. So all help each other. I think that's why Not a lot of restaurants closed during the pandemic. Here in Milwaukee, each other and tried to help each other. And it was a little jarring when I first got here. Like, I didn't know anybody. I'd never been to Milwaukee. Within a couple of months now, oh yeah, you could use my restaurant. I was like, well, why are these people so nice? What do you want?
Yeah.
The other piece is Milwaukee obviously has flown under the radar. Chicago. Yeah, it's not going to be much of a secret anymore, and I kind of liked it when it was a secret. But yeah, at the time, I went to and Chicago. Like, it doesn't make sense to try to compare Milwaukee. And Madison is a great food scene too. I have a huge list of restaurants I want to go to in Madison. I'm actually going on a Madison Food Day next Saturday.
Where you?
I'm go check out Butterbird. That's owners of a.
What is this fried chicken place you speak of?
It's called Butterbird. It's recently opened, and
Southern Korean.
Southern fried chicken.
Okay,
but,
now you're speaking my language.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out, and I have a reservation for Fairchild. They won James Beard last year. Getting in there, I went to Astoria Papavero a couple months ago. They were a runner-up. So yeah, I occasionally will check into Madison for food day, and if time permits, I'll go visit my chef Sal at Naples 15 too.
Yeah. Have you dined much in Madison?
The last time, well, the last time, which was last August, we went to North Ramen, which prior to that, last time I dined at Madison, Four Quarters was still open. So that's how long ago that was. It was actually, I think Melinda wasn't even open. So over 9 years ago. I don't really get to go to Madison a lot.
Yeah, I don't either.
Sometimes it's, you mentioned, fortunate to get to go there and dine there a while ago. We're talking about places closed. Tori Miller had Sujo in Madison. I had gone on a little road trip up the Mississippi River, the Great River Road, to see the small towns along the way. And on the way back, while I was in this cafe, my phone, some Sujo. Tonight is our last night. I haven't been there yet. So as soon as I'm feeling for Madison, before they closed.
When did they close? Was it recently?
This is 4 years ago. No, it was before. Yes. And then I got back to Milwaukee about 11 o'clock that night.
Yeah, we'll drive anywhere for some good food.
There's some good.
Fried chicken.
I love fried.
So you mentioned a James Beard awardee or winner, I should say. And I know in the past you've been a judge for the Restaurant and Chef Awards. Tell us about that experience and from judging to the red carpet at the awards. What was that like for you?
Yeah, and it's funny that you bring that up because all three of us were there.
Yeah, we were there the same year.
Same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I can't even say that it was a dream come true because I never even dreamed that it would be possible for me to be part of it. I was thoroughly blown away when the invitation came to be a scout and submit some restaurant names that should be considered. And then the next round of that was the initial voting, final voting, and being part of that voting process, and then having the opportunity to go attend the ceremony and then the after party, and then having Chef Rick there and Chef Dan Bell, Karen Bell from Bavette.
That was a nice group of us.
That was all Milwaukee that year.
It was amazing. And then, yeah, I mean, we had a pretty decent sized contingent from Milwaukee, and we're all hanging out together. We had our own little clique there. Actually, it was a bigger clique, but that was a really great time. Yeah, Caitlin.
Tariq was there. Oh yeah, it was a nice
Chef Judge was there.
Chef.
Yeah, it was. Like you, to myself these days, but yeah, no, it was fantastic. And One of the ways that I was able to get invited, um, Jason Olson from Heaven's Table, and I think it was a guest a while ago. They did a barbecue collab
Okay.
with Southeast Asian barbecue and I was lucky enough to sit at a table across from Adrian Miller, the author.
Yeah.
And we talked about we wanted to redo James Beard to get more diversity into it, and that was how I was up to it. He reached Derek. I was invited to participate.
Are you a judge this year?
I am not. I think that was basically a one-time opportunity, once in a lifetime, and I'm not mad at it.
Right.
Are you a judge this year, Samantha?
Nope.
Okay, never mind then.
So what's on your dining bucket list?
So there have been a surprise, and I want to support all of them because I'm Puerto Rican. In case you figure that out. There's a new Puerto Rican food truck I haven't heard about that I've been trying to keep my eye out for. Sabor de Vida, order 30 Lincoln. I want to go check them out. There was closing in a Puerto Rican restaurant going in there. La Ventanita, window. Waiting for that place to open. Go try that. There's a carry-out place I haven't been to yet called La Playa right off 16th and. So I mean, there was a time there was just like 2 or 3, and now I think we're pushing 10. We'll try it out.
Because it's just few here and there. But I definitely want to tap into some of those. I feel like personally, I haven't really experienced a lot of true, authentic Puerto Rican food here yet.
Yeah, well,
I know I got the perfect dining buddy over there.
Yeah. My even I have a couple of the recipes at home that I've been in the city long enough, and obviously I dine out a lot. I've seen this before, and places open up like, oh, we're going to do this. That's already been done. And that's what makes Honduras unique. There's Spanish restaurants, but there's not Spanish or Portuguese that don't feature he's doing something. And I'm not just blowing smoke because you're sitting here next to me, but it's a fact. It's a fact. And I'm looking for different concepts. The new Wolf on Broadway, they're doing some different spin with Asian food. No, I did not have the chicken sandwich.
One of my birthday stops was at the Wolf, and that it was so. I didn't have the chicken.
It's not like you get a chicken sandwich, it's a breast or that. It's ground up and
it's in a rice flour. Yeah.
It's delicious.
Yeah, my friend ordered it. I ordered tartare that night as my entree because they do a different preparation for it every week, and that night it's pho ingredients.
Really?
So I was like, yes, I'm having that, and then we ordered 2 orders of dumpling special. One order wasn't enough. We're gonna need another order of that.
She's very talented.
Yeah, I was hooked.
Her name is Kristen
Schwab. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we did get an order of the rendang puffs because I love beef rendang. It was incredible. There was beef rendang, and it may not have originated there. I was introduced to it at the Malaysian portions of menus. There's 3 places in town that were serving it. Now I don't know if any of those places are still around, but and then there's another place. The guys from Sticky Rice, different concept at LP Local Pub Milwaukee, and I want to go check that out because that looks pretty unique as well.
Nice. You gotta loop me in.
Okay,
I know. I'm gonna just start popping up.
Yeah, that's one. Just like, oh, Rick, where should I go? What do you recommend? Do you go to my Instagram?
Rick's got
I do that for you. I'm not doing that for you. I'm doing that for you.
So you can
go to these, support these businesses.
We know we are festival, state, city, and
City
beyond.
Festivals, yes.
I want to know some of your picks for festivals, farmers markets, and
I'm
where do you like to go as far as festivals to get your best eating experiences?
so um, the one that jumps out, of course, is State Fair because it's just so over the top.
Right.
Go down there on Grayson Day that Tuesday,
I go every year on that
and we would just
Tuesday.
go. But then we realized that we were well, why don't we just come on a weekend and not take the day off? So weekend,
Mhm.
and we'll just be buying stuff and just share it. Everybody gets a bite, and then we just keep going through the festival. So that's a fun one. Summer festival occasionally happens.
Back, You gotta share.
Oh man,
You
that's a
gotta
come
share
on now. Oh,
one
yeah,
or
remember
one or
that.
two
I mean,
must-haves.
it does change a lot. I like going into the Wisconsin and seeing. Um, they used to have tacos, and now they don't have them. As of last year, they weren't there anymore, but they were like $2.50. Inexpensive. They were super delicious. And that could be a go-to. That was one of my favorite ones. Grilled cheese place. Pizza. Almost pizza used to be in there. Now there's different frozen pizza spots. They're made in Stevens Point.
Mhm.
So Emo's Pizza was another Wisconsin frozen pizza company. And then just kind of going through the different restaurants. Albanese, lots of fried raviolis. Just on that. One of my favorite dishes, velvet Elvis on a stick. So peanut butter in a batter on a stick. That's just again
The
the over
Velvet
top.
Elvis?
Yeah, it was super. And it would all be on a stick, fried together.
Mhm.
So it's just, but yeah, so those are some of my favorites. There's always new stuff, new items. The deep fried are yeah. Summerfest will come out with a new food. Sometimes I really like the church festivals. Sometimes those, especially like the ethnic ones.
Yeah.
But Saint Saba had Serbian first in Oklahoma.
Okay.
I used to love that. That was definitely one
Never
of my
been.
favorites. Serbian chebab. St. Constantine and Helens and Tosa for Greek food. And then there's all Wisconsin State Fair. I just one of the best. All this French festival. There isn't that much French food in there, but there'll be some other fun foods. Um, uh, and then like Heartfest. You
Very,
get
very local
when you get the
neighborhood.
local food trucks, they're
Mhm.
setting up food tents there, and you get.
Yeah.
You mentioned farmers. My is Vocado MKE. So they're basically they didn't know they're crushing it, and I
Mhm.
love their avocado toast.
Oh, I had that at, I think the Shorewood
Okay,
Farmers
yeah.
Market.
So that's different. Sure, they're at different markets.
I think.
Wauwatosa, when they'll do special events there. But yeah, I didn't think I could be excited about avocado toast, and they proved me wrong. That was
Remember what I had in mind.
What was on there? Just,
so there's one they have like a caprese version.
okay.
So they have a fresh. Yeah. There was another one I had. There was like, and yeah, I mean, you put fried egg on anything. Sauce. Okay.
Yeah.
And then with the bigger festivals, German fest, cakes, Italian fest. Yeah, Louise is there. On deer and
Mhm.
brown deer. We used a couple of weeks, and we get.
Interested in knowing your favorite, frozen custard picks here.
Oh, you're trying to. Oh man, I a frozen. I carry lactate with me. I'm not going to give up. it's really right? So frozen custard, Dairyland, and Cops is good. I live close to Kansas, so that might be the one I go to just because it's so close to me.
Is that on? That's on Blue
It's on Blue
Mound?
Mound. Yeah,
Okay.
that's on Blue Mound. And then I made ice cream. Well,
I really don't miss butter pop. Um, yeah. And that out, but I do like on the bus. I like their, which is vegan, but that's I do like their shakes. On the What about you, Chef?
Oh God, I like
You
purple.
can raise your mic up too
Can I?
if you need to.
I like purple door a lot.
Yep.
I like yums. I like
Mm.
cup.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially in the,
Mhm.
we make a lot of ice cream at the restaurant, so we like to eat
Yeah.
and then figure out how to put them on the menu.
Yeah. Pop is my favorite butter pecan. I do like, but it's something about that crisp crunch with Cops.
Yeah.
Pecan. That's the separation for me.
I feel like talk is gelato.
Yeah.
I like gelato, fascia gelato, chocolate gelato. I don't know that we have a big gelato. I know that Cocoa Tree Confectionery in Mequon, I think she's making it.
Mhm.
But Bear, like this one that I'll pick that.
Mhm. So tips and tricks for dining across Milwaukee. We heard about your calendars and reminders,
Yeah.
and
I think
Even-
knowing a lot of the chefs might help.
even making sure that folks venture off to different neighborhoods and areas that they haven't been, or dining in those specific areas too.
Number one is have an open mind. People go to the same restaurants, order the same dish, and there's so much in the
Mhm.
city. And that was one dinner club. It was food, really fun social environment. So we're willing to do it. And they all loved it. And the goal behind it was, okay, now you tried it, you liked it, now go tell your friends to bring them back. That's how you help the community is go out and bring them back.
Right.
A lot of them, that was again when it's like, hey, I want to bring 3 people. I'm like, no, you come and then you take those 3 people on another
Mhm.
day. That's how we really help the business. And I know that there's some other people out there. Some of them are doing cooking and they take place at home.
Hmm.
Hey, take that group, go out to a restaurant, go on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night when they really need your help. I feel like I'm on every email list, so that I can keep track of what's going on. I'm getting all these announcements. Hey, we're doing this, doing that. This place open, that place open. Social media. I
Yeah.
spend too much time on Instagram and Facebook because that's how I keep track of all these events that are
Yeah,
going
it's a
on.
lot.
And then I'll make a note in my calendar, my phone, like, add this place to my list and go check it out.
Right. So how do you keep up? I mean, not keep up, but what's your go-to for the foodie events? Is it just different sources, checking out the restaurant websites themselves?
Again, it's being on different email lists.
Mhm.
Once you hear about something one year and you're like, oh, I missed that. And I've never been to it, and I'm going to go this year because I'm in a opening in my calendar where I can go, and so and it's in the building where I. So they'll have 8 chefs. They'll change the chef every year.
Mhm.
Each dish, and then talk about what they brought and maybe their story. And I know this year some of the ones off the top of my head, just kind of regular there. Adam Siegel's there. Chef Dina Spandit from
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those would be some good ones.
Yeah. So what have been the most, I guess, unique foodie event experiences that you've enjoyed?
Man, number one is going to be that James Beard after party.
Oh my gosh.
Because that was sensory overload.
Yes.
It was like,
It On a Monday night.
Yeah,
right.
on a Monday night. I mean, there was so much amazing food there. There's celebrity chefs. I can get this food over here first. I'll go snap a selfie with them. And then I remember caught chef snap us and food in his mouth. I'm like, "We're taking a selfie. I know you have food in your mouth, but we're taking a selfie because I gotta get over there. So I'm on a time crunch.
Mhm.
But no, that was incredible. Boy, I don't know. There's one of the ones I'm looking forward to coming up. It's more casual. The Rockabilly Chili event that MSOE does. It's a fundraiser for WNOC, and there's going to be over 40 vendors there. And we'll have multiple chilies. They'll have like a vegan or a vegetarian chili with categories, and that's coming up on April 7th. And Empty Bowls is another one I like going to, where it's another fundraiser for food pantry, and people will make these bowls of clay. You go buy a bowl, just go to these different restaurants who have their soup recipes there. That's another one I like going to, and I hope that they bring it as well.
All right, we're gonna come right back and hear a little bit more from Chef Gregory. Thank you, Rick, for all of your insight on navigating the food scene in Milwaukee.
Good music, good food offers all day happy hour every Tuesday and Wednesday. $6 wings, $8 flat drink specials, and more. Essential Tuesdays. All essential workers receive 10% off their purchase. ID every Tuesday. Back with R&B Karaoke Thursday, beginning at 7 p.m., followed by Throwback Thursday. Great food, great drinks, fresh hookah, located at 524 North Water Street.
Milwaukee, I'm Mr. Debo, the program director here at the WNOV. January 8th of the year, WNOV event, complete with a branding, format, and music. You can stream on Facebook, striving to enhance your listening experience. And now, your experience too. You can see more changes in our life. Here's a few things we've added. Thursday, Chris Heavy Levy, Saturday backtracks and more. Flavor Fix with foodie Samantha Starr. How about me on the porch? Nixon, Wisconsin Voices, with attorney Carl, Columbia Savings, the Friday Night Jukebox Party with DJ Kevin Buchanan, Church, Marty from 9:30 a.m. Community Outreach Clinics, Community Heartbeat with more to come. Rest assured, of course, we have our staple shows that have not changed and will not change. Say with Keith Paris, International Roots Rock Reggae Meltdown, Rock Joel, The Blues Cafe. 12 until 3, we're listening to you and we'll get it right together. And the new WNOV 106.5, The Voice.
Watering eats and delectable treats. Look no further. Eat local and visit Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar, serving mixed, frozen. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at West Fond du Lac Avenue and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit theshermanphoenix.com to learn more.
I am attorney Coral Price, and I'm inviting you to join me for a new show here at WNOV AM and 106.5 FM. You ask the name of the show, it's Money Talks. Attorney Cora. Here each and every Thursday from 11 a.m. till 12 noon. We'll discuss financial literacy and what part Columbia can play in our journey to financial freedom. Remember to join us each and every Thursday from 11 right here at 8:60 a.m. 106.5 FM.
What's your
Now, back to Flavor Fix with your AM and 106.5.
All right, we are back with Flavor Fix on WNOV 860 AM 105 FM. If you are tuned in, shout out to the listeners on the radio, on YouTube, and on Facebook Live. We're gonna wave, just joining us. This is Gregory, he's the chef and owner of Melinda, and we heard him chiming in earlier with our friend Rodrigo, who talked about foodie journey through Milwaukee. But we're gonna take a deeper dive to background and all the things of Chef Gregory. You want to kick us off with where you from, what you
What
do?
do I do? First of all, that song that plays at the show, I like that.
Yes,
That's a nice song.
it's a hit.
I was born in
Okay.
I was in my family to be born in Oklahoma. My mother was originally born in Wisconsin, but when she was young, she moved to Oklahoma. My
Okay.
father's Venezuelan. When I was 5, we moved back to Venezuela. I lived until I was 19. We moved back to Oklahoma in '89, and then in 1993, I think you want to be a chef. I like
Really?
food. I want to cook.
Where did that?
My dad's family is very large, and if anybody knows my family, works together, being in the kitchen around food. So food was always present in our home. My parents both cooked, and on the weekends, all my aunts and uncles were at the house. My cousins, music, playing dominoes, or drinking. And so
Yeah.
I subconsciously wanted to bring that to the masses, that feeling of hanging out with people, having really good food. And so being a chef is what it was. So in 1992, 93, I was like, I need to get out of start being a chef or a restaurant. And like, yeah, let's do it. Literally, I told my dad, he's like, what are you going to do with that? There was no, it is now. So I had dinner with a friend of mine who he was like, if you're really serious about this, New York, because 94, those are the culinary. And I said, well, it's December, so I'm not going to go to New York. I'll go to San Francisco, thinking, it's California and it's sunny. No, and like 4 days later, I got to California and it was
Right.
So that's my journey to the plan was to go to cooking school. I was going to work for a couple years, save some money, go to cooking school, but I was lucky enough that I connected with chefs who were willing to give me a job, not the experience, because I had zero experience cooking professionally. I lied on my first time, lied through my. I don't know the specifics. I probably told them that I had a lot of experience, which was not true. And having never been to San Francisco, I didn't know much about the San Francisco. Lucky for me, it was a restaurant called Zuni Cafe, which is just a staple of the San Francisco dining scene. I think this year it's maybe probably a little bit more. Judy Rogers, our house, kitchen manager Marsha McGrath went off to open her own place in Oakland, or Berkeley. I'm sorry. So I lied. They gave me a job. I lasted 3 months. She fired me. She was really nice about it, but she said, you're trying hard, but you really do not know what you're doing.
Oh my goodness.
But then when I went to go talk to the next chef, which was Gordon Drysdale, who had opened Bic and was now opening the new restaurant. I said, I don't do it, but I want to learn. And so he gave me a job and he taught me. And I felt like it was everything kind of fell into
Yeah. So what did you start doing?
Oh, like, I mean, when I worked at Zuni, they still do breakfast, and I think they quit doing breakfast shortly after the fire. And it was my breakfast. They had 3 hours in the farm area, not even in the kitchen. When I went to work for Gordon, I worked the line. It was inside Museum of Modern Art, and it was like sandwiches and stuff. Crazy. So there was no transportation. We had a
Yeah.
pizza oven. We would heat up, we would make pizzas and heat those up, sandwiches, salads, that kind of stuff. Basic line cook stuff. But then at that point, I was like, I think I want to learn some pastry. So in Drysdale, contact with the pastry designer,
Okay.
and so I would. Yeah,
Still in
so in San Francisco. Yeah, all of this was in San Francisco.
Okay.
And I would get back to the diner at 4:30 in the morning, let the cleaning crew in, and then that didn't last because 4:30 in the morning, go out, have fun, and
Yep.
perhaps. But I learned a lot. So, where else did I work? She's at Indigo. One of my favorite places was called Universal Cafe, and that was at 19th and Bryant. Called Julia McClaskey, and I'm constantly looking for her on social media. And she doesn't strike me as the kind of person that would. Very small place, probably the size of Melinda, like
Oh, really?
really small.
Okay.
But I met some great people working there. Julie, I picked up like plating style, like very minimalist, a lot of stuff on the plate. Non, um, what was like I hate when we don't garnish our dishes with stuff that doesn't belong on the plate. I hate putting something on the plate just for the sake of it.
Right.
So she was that way. Her garnish did the dish.
Mm,
So I learned that from
okay.
her. No parsley overload. Um, yeah, then Gail DeFerrari was a restaurant owner, and
Okay.
from her, I really learned what it's like to be a good restaurant owner and what it's like to really treat your employees the way they should all be treated.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
unfortunately, in this industry, that doesn't happen very often. Maybe now it does.
Mhm.
Certainly back then, it was not. Was
Yeah.
not. Working in kitchens was probably not the most pleasant thing.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that's changed.
Yeah. So San Francisco, then did you come back to Wisconsin or did
Well, I had never lived in Wisconsin until I moved here in
Oh, until you
2012.
moved
Yeah,
here.
my
Okay.
mother was born in Superior, but again, when she
Got
was
you,
like,
got
I
you.
think like 7 or 8, so I had me,
Okay.
me coming to Milwaukee had nothing to do with it. In 2012, so from 94 to 2012, I would go off to Spain for a while, hang out for a few months. Well, yeah, I learned some Spanish cooking and go back to San Francisco.
Mhm.
And in 2012, after being in San Francisco, this place is super expensive. At 42, I've got 9 roommates. I'm always broke. I'm done. And
9
I didn't really have this. I'm
Oh.
exaggerating, but it felt like I had
It sounded for
no,
real
no,
because
no.
it's
I'm
very expensive.
exaggerating. I had like 1 roommate, but still at 42, I'm like,
Yeah,
ah.
yeah.
So and sometimes the universe is telling you it's time to pack up. You
Mhm.
should really listen to that. And so the last 2 years, from like 2010 to 2012, like the city just really kicked my rear end. And I was having dinner with a friend, Kimberly, who was also a chef, and I was like, I just feel like the universe is just giving me a signal. And I said, I can't leave San Francisco because if I do, have a family because I didn't open a restaurant. Very right. And she's like, well, how about you look at it this way? The plan was you came here, you were here for 18 years, you learned all this stuff. Now it's time to take
Right.
perfect. Well, I
Yeah.
love the way you see that. So my dog and I packed up our stuff and we traveled that whole summer. And Milwaukee was not on my radar whatsoever. I didn't even know what Milwaukee was, to be completely
Wow.
honest. I'd gone to Idaho to hang out in nature with some friends, and I went to Portland. I'm moving to Portland. Portland is great, great vibe. Again, this was 2012, sorry.
Mhm.
And a really good friend of mine from here texted me, and he's like, "You should come visit Milwaukee." And I was like, "I don't Milwaukee. I don't know what that is." And he was like, "Come visit." And I was like, I looked up the map. I was like, "Oh, I like this kind of cool, but it looks really far north. So it looks cold." And I was like, I can't. Like, I'm flying on vouchers for this particular airline that doesn't go to Milwaukee. I haven't worked in months. I'm living off of
Mhm.
savings. I don't have the extra money to buy a ticket. So like 3 days later, he calls me up and he says, "I had some miles. I really think you need to come see Milwaukee. I got you a ticket. You fly out tomorrow." I guess I'm
All
going to
right.
Milwaukee.
Right.
And I got here on Friday. By the following Wednesday, I was like, okay, about this, you know, and then Friday night, Friday week, I got the following Friday. We were having dinner at my whole thing was like I wanted to find a city that had a culinary community where I could open a restaurant and make a living at it and do the kind of food that I wanted to do.
Right.
And we ate at Roots because Roots was still open, and I was completely blown away. We had a couple other places, and Odd Duck was the last place I ate at before I moved my mind. And I've said this to Ross and Melissa before, who were the owners of Odd Duck. They're the restaurant that convinced me that Milwaukee had a good food scene in it. So we're sitting there, and there's David and Jeff, and then this lady, I can't think of her name right now. I could see her face. I just went into her the other day. So we're talking, and she says, "Oh, you need to just move to Milwaukee and open a pop-up restaurant." And I was like, "Lady, I have no money to do that." And a year after I opened a restaurant, we did a pop-up restaurant. We did Amelinda's pop-up restaurant out of Nashville for a year, from December of 2013 to about January of 2015, and then we shut that down. Wisconsin Avenue, where we've been ever since. Shout out to Wisconsin Avenue.
So, who would you say has been a key influence in your journey thus far?
So I would say in my journey to opening a restaurant, I would definitely say Nell Benton by all means. I mean, she didn't know. Hi, Nell. Yeah, she's amazing. It's kind of sad that she's not in the anymore. But she didn't know who I was. I mean, nobody knew who I was when I moved here. I maybe about a week after I was here, I met Lori Frederick through Twitter, and then I hung out with her and Paul, and she's like, "I want to write an article about why would a chef from San Francisco move to Milwaukee?" I'm like, I don't know why, but it seems like a nice place, and it's cheap. And so I became friends with Lori, and she was really the first person in the Milwaukee food
Lori's
scene.
awesome.
Yeah, she's been a huge supporter of ours. She was kind of the first person that I connected with and became friends with. So I remember emailing her and being like, "Lori, I want to do this. You guys the restaurant. Who's going to use?" She immediately said no. So I remember emailing now, and I'm like, I probably want to hear from her for weeks. She emailed me like within an hour. We met that afternoon, and I have to think about it. Maybe she wants me to come cook for her, and she was like, "No, you can start on Saturday." So now, definitely in the journey to opening the restaurant, as far as cooking styles or like my feeling towards food and cooking, there's a lot of people. Like my parents, definitely. Chef Richard Steven in Spain, who has become kind of a mentor to me. And he's the reason I went to Spain the first time. The reason I discovered Spanish food and fell in love with it. And then you got, I like Nancy Silverton in LA. What he does with food to help people and make the community better. So there's a list of them.
Sounds familiar.
Right? Well, maybe I learned that.
So tell me about your team. Do you have a business partner? Is it just you?
No, so when we opened when we started the pop-up in 2013 and then opened the restaurant in 2015, we did have a business partner that was Ori. And then 2020, we kind of decided to go our own way. So now I just run the place by myself. But I do want to send a shout out to him because he was instrumental. I'm like, I don't have any money. I hate the space. I don't know what to do. Like, we're going to do it. And so, he signed the lease without having any money in the bank. And I was like, you're insane. And he's like, just do it. It'll happen. So he deserves a lot of credit for opening that restaurant. But now it's just me. So it's me. I have a fantastic sous chef named Trevor Cutler. I cannot wait to see where this guy's career. Like, I am so excited to go eat at his restaurant one day. Like, we've had some great people come through the kitchen. Like, literally, we've had some amazing people. Darlene, who's now the chef at the Edison, incredible. Like, her Asian flavors are amazing. John Acrylica, who's no longer in the food industry, probably one of a wonderful temperament to work with. We've had some great people. But he's Trevor's something else. He really is. Like, he came to the restaurant and the food, he'll make dishes and I'll try it. Damn it, why didn't I think this? You know what I mean? And this is a new thing for me. I was talking to a chef of mine. He's like, "Oh yes, we all go through that. Like, when you have younger people working for you, I'm 54.
Okay.
This year is my 30th year working in professionally.
Wow.
So, and I say that out loud and I feel really old. But my friend was like, "This is a moment. Chef," and you're like, "Oh, kids are." But yes, stay tuned, Milwaukee. And he's also great to work with. Let's see, Blaine Davis does a fantastic job with those drinks and the bar. Just incredible. Also, somebody, funny story about him. Um, Needed to find somebody. I think this was in 2021 to help us with the grant. And I put something on Facebook, and a friend of mine, Marge, was like, hey, my roommate just moved here. He's looking for. All right, so he comes in, we talk, kind of sizes each other out. Wasn't a long interview because I'm like, okay, this guy's leaves. Like maybe 20, 30 minutes later, he texts me and he says, have you ever been any consulting in Boise, Idaho? I was like, okay, that's random. But yes, I'm like in 2000 and I want to say like 5 or 6, maybe. A kid that had worked for me who was from Boise.
Wow.
His mom had bought a restaurant. And so I went out to Boise for 6 months to help him in the restaurant. Blaine is from Boise. He had a roommate, Kate. I hired Kate to come work at this restaurant. And so he has a specific story where he says, I walked into my house and there was all these cooks in my house. I didn't know who you guys were. You were some
Sounds about
right. Sounds about right. And I'm like, remember that? And he's like, yeah. So I was like, so he came on and he does the whole bar program. He's yeah, everybody who works. I'm sure everybody says this. Everybody who works for us is great, but I really feel, we've been open for 9 years. We've had a myriad of people. Amazing, and then you have to be like, I kind of want to drive you. You're driving me crazy. I feel like right now everybody's on the same level. It's like everybody cares. It's a much smaller staff. There's yeah. So the kitchen is right now. It's Trevor and I Wednesdays and Thursdays. We go in, we prep the whole menu. The menu is still the same size it was before the pandemic. And then on Fridays and Saturdays we have this awesome kid named Emilio who's just starting his career, so he's super fun to be around. I had a cook named Eugenia who's from Venezuela, also like super eager. And then our amazing dishwasher Toro, who's just a little machine. I mean, I say little, he's not little. He's 70 and he's like huge and like so and then everybody in the front of the house. The host Ray not only does a great job keeping the dining room organized, but is definitely organized. I'm like, Ray, I need this phone call. Ray, he's awesome. Lance, fantastic server. He's been doing it for a while. And then Carrie's also great. I mean, we just have so many great people in the restaurant. Yeah.
A great.
And it's everybody gets along. There's none of that front of the house, back of the house stuff. I mean, during service, if you were to mic Trevor and I up, you would probably hear us complaining about the front of the house. And I'm sure the same thing. There's plenty of times Blaine will come to me and say, stop antagonizing because then I have to hear about it. Sorry.
He's slanging the drink.
Yeah. Like they just called you a nasty name out there. Stop teasing them. That's our team.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't. I don't think.
So, what do you enjoy most
about our own restaurant?
General.
I enjoy. I mean, I'm not with everybody in it. Like, so I'm just going to be honest. Obviously, I don't.
Entrepreneur.
Now that I don't mean that, but sometimes it gets a little frustrating. What do I enjoy the most? I mean, I enjoy working with all these fantastic, very creative people. That's a great part of it. And this part I discovered in the pandemic is that I really enjoy the social life with the customers. And I always knew that was a big part of why I did it. The pandemic, stayed open, just only to go. And it was frustrating because we would go in there and it's like, okay, the restaurant's a disaster. There's to-go boxes everywhere. We haven't had another human in here in like 3 months. It was tough. So definitely, meeting the people who come in, talking to them, hearing how we've made a little bit of an impact on their life, even for an hour and a half while they're there.
Now, do you have a lot of regulars?
We do. We do have a lot of regulars. We're super lucky. We have a family who is incredibly loyal. One of favorite stories is during the pandemic. We haven't said, I want you to use this money. We don't need it. We want to make sure that restaurant's open when life gets back to normal because we want to go back.
That's dope.
That was a lot of no, we've got a lot of fans. Great. And
awesome.
And they've become almost we know about their kids and their grandkids and what their birthdays are. And it's an awesome feeling. So that, and the actual cooking. I've never understood, everybody's different, and people get into the business for different reasons. And so my experience and what I obviously I, in my mind, there's a lot of extra crazy stuff that comes with owning a restaurant. I have a long list of things that I would never been able to tell you I would have to deal with
Yeah.
when I said I wanted to open a restaurant. The
Mm.
actual process, being back on the stove, having the ticket machines going off, people running around. I love that. So I'm behind every day we're open. Like, unless I've got like an event to go to or something, I'm
Mhm.
there cooking with Trevor every night. That is like my favorite part. Like, I love that. I can't imagine not doing that part.
My dinner with friends there, it was just so fun to actually step into the kitchen and watch you just work.
You're like, he actually does cook.
Yeah, he
I
does. He
do, I
does
do,
good.
I do. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Mhm.
That's the best.
And then I love how the layout is.
Yeah.
It's like you can see everything that's happening in the space.
I tell people when they come with, like, you just nowhere for your pot. Like, other kitchens are in the basement or you're in the back and nobody can see what you're doing. The pantry station is right there. Like, you can see that pantry. At least we're kind of like in a little bit, but he's right there. And front of the restaurant, the kitchen's at the front of the restaurant if you haven't been there. And so
Mhm.
the door is obviously in the middle of the facade, and then it's two large floor to ceiling windows, and one of those windows is the kitchen. So I love that because it doesn't feel like in a cave or in a closet. We get that natural light, which I think because we're there for like 18 hours a day.
Mhm.
But also it's just like no place to hide. So
But how's that?
I like it. I mean, I like it. It's sometimes Trevor will show up with these T-shirts or these pants, and it's like, oh, Trevor. Um, yeah, I like how it dressed it. I'm like, everybody can see you, right? I know.
What
So,
about when it gets a little tense or,
you know,
how do you balance what they see or,
well, the part where the stove is, so it's a long kitchen. So the part where the stove is, that's the wall. So half the kitchen is a window. So you can't really see it if you're outside. I have been told by the server, can you please keep it down? I'll try. And Trevor's really good about it. When I start to get really loud, they, um, so we try to like be very zen. We complain to each other about stuff, but there's no really throw stuff at each other. So we never get mad at each other. Really,
So, dinners,
yeah,
chef dinners have been trending in Milwaukee, picking up great job opening up your doors,
yeah.
allowing up and coming chefs or, allowing chefs to maybe operate a food truck and wanna host a pop-up dinner. Tell me a little bit about that and what, you know, what gave you that passion to just allow so many people to come to your doors and
So as I mentioned earlier, if it wasn't because of Nell and letting me do a pop up at her restaurant, I don't really think Melinda. I mean, maybe it would have opened, but it probably would have been the process maybe not as easy. Um, and so when we opened our doors, as I had said earlier, use the restaurant not only as a restaurant, but as a vehicle to make the community better, help other people. So from the get go, we've like want to do pop ups. So we did Uncle Wolfie's did a pop up with us before they opened Uncle Wolfie's. And I
Mm,
love um,
get them on.
ballet.
Mhm.
When Heather was opening that place, we did pop up. I'm sure I'm forgetting a bunch of other people. So I just wanted to move forward and see all these great, talented people who want to start their own business, give them a platform to, if nothing else, practice what they want to do and do with the food scene in Milwaukee. Because
Yes.
it's fair.
It
What
is,
was done for
yeah.
me, so I should do it for other people. And then we do other programs like Rick was talking earlier about the refugee chefs,
Mhm.
which is just one of my, you know, we're involved in a lot of things that I'm Linda, but I think this is one of really close to my heart. And try not to cry when I talk about it. So my very good friend Kai, who worked with a lot of refugees in Milwaukee,
Mhm.
reached out to a mutual friend, and she's like, I go to these refugees every day to help them and stuff. The food's amazing, so there has to be a way to bring this to Milwaukee and then maybe make some money. So her friend's like, go talk to Caitlin Cohen, and go talk to Greg Leone, and go talk to, and I think her name.
Okay.
And so she talked to us, and she wasn't even gonna talk. I'll never forget it. So what we do is we open a restaurant to these people who've been used to Milwaukee. They cook the food at their homeland. Do all the cooking, like they don't let us do anything.
Wow.
And then we sell tickets. Usually at uh, in 36, I mean, 100% of money goes to people cooking. So it helps them buy, if they just got here last week, then they can buy those basic things that they need. Or if they've been here for a while and they need money to send their kids to school. So it's amazing. A, get to taste and eat we probably would never get exposed to.
Right.
We learn just by and then just to see their face. They're telling it like
I can just
it's like the greatest thing, just to see how they are. Um, I think we started in 2019.
Okay.
It was quite a bit. First it was Melinda the Tandem, Lazy Tuesday, okay, and Triggleby, and then we figured it's a little bit easier if we just keep two restaurants that have been doing it for a while. We kind of know the spiel. It's almost like plug and play. Like some of the refugee chefs have already been to Melinda, so we have one more coming up in May. Date here real quick. You can go to Tables Across Borders on Facebook. Um, mm, 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 Bro, my calendar, great. May. I will let you know,
Yeah,
or
sure
just
will.
go, yeah, just or follow on Melinda um, Instagram on this because we'll talk about it. But if you go to Tables Across Borders on Facebook, it's just the food is so good
Yeah.
and just it's for and it's for a little. Like I'm always really good about instilling my brothers. We're no better than anybody else. We're all the same. I'm faster and better than anybody else because I'm good
Yeah.
at what I do. So it doesn't hurt to help. We all help.
Well, sure. So I want flavors and ingredients that kind of
Okay.
help the Portuguese cuisine
Okay.
and you know.
So we were inspired by the Iberian Peninsula, so that's Spain and Portugal. We don't necessarily do traditional dishes by the book. We're like, hey, this dish is really interesting. How this ingredient here, get a little bit more Allen in Wisconsin. A lot of interesting. There was a lot of in the world because tomatoes came from America. A lot of tomato, a lot of garlic, a lot of onion. So I think garlic and onion is probably like the foundation of both cuisines. And I always love it when people come into the restaurant and they're, I'm allergic to garlic and onion.
Yeah. So we're gonna come back to that right after this break. We'll be back. I said black. We'll be black flavors.
What's your flavor? No, no, no. Tell me what's your flavor?
March is Women's History Month. Thelma A. Sias is one of Milwaukee's most powerful women because of her leadership and commitment to serve her community. She is proud to be the fifth of 11 children of the late Roosevelt and Pauline Sias. Thelma joined Wisconsin Gas, now we, in 1986. She most recently as a power of the Milwaukee Business Journal. Is a retired executive and the founder of LLC. And saluting.
Milwaukee, 860 WNOV. This year, WNOV underwent a relaunch, complete with a fresh logo, branding, format, and new shows. Now you can even stream our talk shows on YouTube and Facebook. We're always striving to enhance your listening experience. And now your watching experience too. As we continue to work on improving, there may be more changes in our lineup. Here's a few of the changes we've made. We've added Sandra Silk and All That Jazz on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Chris Heavy Levy on Saturdays with Saturday Backtracks and more. Flavor Fits with Foodie Samantha Starr. How about Pillow Talk with me? One with Quabanon and Top. The difference with voices. Dr. Quavo and Bindo. Carl Plaz. Brought to you by Columbia Savings and Loan. The Friday Night Jukebox. DJ Kevin Buchanan. Pastor Marty from 9 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Community Outreach Clinics, Community Heartbeat, with more to come. But rest assured, of course, we have our that have not changed and will not change. Say Something Real with Michelle Bryant. Community Voice with Keith Paris. International Roots Rock Reggae Meltdown with Ross Joel. The Blues Cafe with me, Mr. Debo. Reverend Al Sharpton from 12 until 3. We're listening to you, and we'll get it right together. And thank you for listening to the 106.5 Voice.
Brownstone Social Lounge, Milwaukee. Here, Downtown Social Lounge for good vibes, good music, and good food. All day happy hour every Tuesday and Wednesday. $6 wings, $8 flatbreads, drink specials, and more. Essential Tuesdays. All receive 10% off their purchase with ID every Tuesday. R&B Karaoke Thursday, beginning at 7 p.m. Followed by Throwback Thursday. Great food, great located at 5 Water Street.
If you're looking for mouth-watering and delectable treats, look no further. Eat local and visit the Sherman Phoenix today, where you can find everything from delicious organic wings and smoked barbecue to satisfyingly seasoned vegan food to sweet, buttery, made-to-order desserts. The Sherman Phoenix is also home to a day bar, serving mixed, frozen, and tropical drinks. Experience the Sherman Phoenix effect at 3536 West Fond du Lac Avenue. Open Tuesday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Visit theshermanphoenix.com to learn more.
31st, the new Pitts Mortuary, located at 2031 West. That's 50 home, the capture spiritual. Oh, the gospel for. He's blessing me. I feel it in my feet right now. Baby, you better meet me there. My soul is a witness. I feel it down on the inside. He right there, the budget. 7830 West Good Hope Road. Oh, Willie Rogers going to a that day. I see him marching down the street. Come on in. Northwest South. Oh, it's going down. There's a leak in this whole building, Bishop Neil Robertson, and my soul has got to. You miss it. 414-476. It's going down at the Soul Stirring Gospel Easter. Oh, I gotta. My feet got light. I feel myself flying right about now. Come on now, you don't want to miss me right here. Everybody knows my friend. Oh, you don't want to miss it. You be right there. That Soul Stirring Gospel. Yummy. I'll tell you, come on now, Reverend R.L. Bush and the Revived Son. Wait on me. It's Mortuary. Tickets are also available at Nickabock and Mayfair Mall on the second floor.
WNOV 860.
All right, we're back. With Chef Gregory, he was just talking to us about flavors, kind of help define the Spanish and Portuguese cuisine. Yeah, I want to get a little bit into the message and experience you hope that your diners through the menu
We're getting
and
deep
restaurant.
here.
Yeah.
Also, I want that song to play.
Oh,
I need to make
well, I
that
gotta send
happen.
it to you.
Excellent. Excellent. So what I was saying, onions and garlic are like huge, huge. And it's always funny when people come in like, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. Also, actually, the garlic and onions because I looked it up. So you
Don't be coming in there with your
ye-
preferences.
ye- so onions, garlic, tomatoes, smoked paprika is a big one. That area of the world was influenced by lots of different people. So up until about 1492, I think, don't remember a lot from school. It was the Moorish people who, what we would think of now as Middle Eastern, lived there, and so did the Jewish, the Sephardic Jewish. So a lot of their Middle Eastern flavors are part of that cuisine. And they were Spaniards kicked them all out. I think in 1492, and it became a Catholic region, and the Inquisitions and all that stuff. But those flavors and spices, so saffron. Oh God, rice is a big one. Seafood. So, like obviously, if you're the coast, seafood's a big one. Salt cod is really big, especially in Portugal. Um, quote me on this, but I think Portugal funded exploration of the New World through the sale of cod. I could be wrong, so I might be pulling this out of my neck. So, um, but salt cod, which I mean, it smells like old gym shoes, but
Really?
it is delicious. Yeah, like if once it comes and it's dry and you have
Yeah.
to soak it in water for 24 hours, and we boil it. Sometimes we'll boil it in water, sometimes we'll boil it in milk, and you use it for stuff. It's really, really good. I like it. So I would say those are the bases of Spanish and Portuguese cuisine.
So how do you tell that story? Through your menu, through walk into those doors?
So we, when we first opened, perhaps timid to put certain things on the menu because I'm like, I wanted to get people in the door first to get to know us, try our food, and then we'll be more daring. So I feel like people know who we are. 3 James Beard nominations. So I feel like now we can do like some really cool stuff. We just try to incorporate those flavors and with proteins that might be so to them. We'll put blood sausage on the menu. Nobody's gonna work. So we can't keep it up with it, which always I love. But then there's a lot of Germans in Milwaukee, and they like their blood sausage too. We try to use seafood as possible, but we're also keeping in mind what the Wisconsin palate is and what we can. So our menu changes constantly, probably more than any other restaurant.
How often?
I mean, I could go into the month, like, no, the whole menu at once
Yeah.
because we've tried that before. Every week we'll change maybe like 2 dishes, maybe 3. Like I
Yeah.
think we always keep between 10 and 12 dishes, and it doesn't include dessert. Starting to get come in, we'll drop off the produce, and then we'll just stand. Oh, I think this will be good on this dish, or maybe change this one component of this. Right now we've got rabbit on the menu. Really, so we have bison ribs, which seem to be very popular, and then we have salad, and it's delicious. You've got to love pork, but it's so good. You know what? Maybe. Um, so we fun without it being. Tongue is another one. They eat tons of and big protein because they're very good about using every part of the animal, like
Right.
every part of the animal, especially the pig. Um, can't keep it up. I will say, and I'm going to give a shout out again to my servers because they're very good at selling stuff. So listen to them talking to wow, I want to eat that. And with this right now, comes from Toledo, Spain. It's where Christopher Columbus went to talk to get money to go to the Orient and ended up discovering the Americas. Um, so there's a dish there called carcamoose, and it's stew, and it's got sauce, potatoes, sauces that go with it. Um, and it's one of the few dishes try not to like, I don't dishes. I'm like, "What do we got? Let's do this. This sounds good." But we have a few, like maybe 10 to 20 dishes recipes that we always make the same because they're favorites. I heard Blaine describe Caboose at a table the other day as which is a terracotta dish. It's like the stewy kind of situation. And so they take it, I mean, well, I've had it before, but then your server told me I had to have it.
Yeah.
That makes me really happy when people come in and they say they've tried something for the first time. And they're like, "I'm a believer now. I love tongue or I love rabbit or whatever."
Right.
That's also a good
That's
also a
important
good
too
feeling.
for the staff to really know when you
Yeah.
go to
Yes.
diners
Yes.
sometimes, especially who are indecisive. Like
Yeah.
I can be indecisive sometimes.
Yeah, me
So
too. I'm like, "Oh, what do you think?" So, yeah.
yeah, been nominated for West past few years, and this year you have been nominated for outstanding chef national level.
Mhm.
I am so excited for you.
Thank you.
What has this experience been like?
Well, you know, any crazy goal and,
Yeah.
it's your ego a little bit. It's great. Be recognized. It's your peers love to do. Incredible feeling. So, yeah, the last nominated for best chef was amazing. I never I was thinking about this today when I was getting ready, how I would say, well, I feel like it is deserved, not something that I expect. You know what I mean? Like, I never wake I should get to know.
Right,
Like, that's
right.
just not who I am. So, somewhat, and that's every time she loses. Just being nominated is an incredible thing. It's an honor to be in
Right.
a group of people that are at the top. In January, we were talking, Steph and I were talking, and I'm like, "Oh, we're talking about this season." And he said, "Well, when we get that nomination," I said, "Well, yeah, pretty great. Not gonna happen this year. Like,
Yeah.
don't even start the year with that mentality." And I was just not paying attention
Not
to
ex
any of it. Like, I
yeah.
didn't know when they were gonna announce the semifinalists, and then, I went to bed and
There
woke
you
up,
were.
and there I was for this category, which really it's a very experience. And now I can say I have something in common with Nancy Silverton, who's just
Yeah.
one of my chefs, and
Mhm.
Jose. Um, yeah, it's fantastic, and it's a testament not only to me and my hard work, but to my team.
Mm.
It's a team effort. If anybody out there tells you running a restaurant, it's a single person, it's not. It's a lie. Like these
Right.
chefs are right. It's a team effort. And so yeah, it's a testament to how hard they work. I can't imagine any of them ever woke up one day and be like, help this guy at this restaurant, I'm Melinda. But they do such a great job.
Mhm. So has this experience opened up opportunities for you
Yeah.
at all?
Yes. So you know, go do a couple dinners in other cities. So we're gonna I think early next year and cook at a restaurant there. We've got tons of press,
Mm.
interviews. It's made
Yeah.
the restaurant super busy, which again, right? This is how my staff makes money. So
Exactly.
the busier we are, the more money they're making.
What about connections and have any, I don't know, I don't wanna say mentors, but just anybody that you have met throughout your connection that has been kinda there
Gotta think about this
with
now. Not,
okay.
I've met some great people through the foundation. And last January, I got invited to go to the symposium that they had in Houston and met great people. Met some chefs that I had been following. I was a
Mm.
line cook in California. I thought, um, but you know, no, I haven't met anybody through this process. You know, like, made some great connections, and
Mhm.
I'm sure we'll. And it's opened a lot of doors. Again, we get to go to other cities and
Mhm.
meet other people.
That's really
Um, so was, having some of my old bosses call me,
Mm.
you know, just say some very things.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Like, people that you don't even remember. I worked for them 1,000 years ago.
Right,
How many
right.
people have they had working for them? And just to have them call me up and be like, we're so proud of you, or whatever it is that they said. That was an awesome feeling.
Yeah.
And just make my family proud.
Yeah.
That's always nice.
Right. So we were both at the Top Chef season 21
We
premiere
were.
party last week, which was a blast.
But that was super fun. I'm very excited about that
It
whole
was.
situation.
As a local chef, how does it feel to see Wisconsin, Milwaukee, and our very own chef
Yeah.
Dan Jacobs in such a international spotlight?
I think it's amazing. I mean, I love Dan Jacobs. Like, he's one of my favorite human beings in the whole world. I just love that guy so much, and he's crazy talented. His food is so good. So I'm glad to see that he is getting national recognition he deserves. I can't think of any other chef in Milwaukee I would want representing our city on the national stage, to be completely honest. I think he's going to do such a good job. The city looked great on the episode. I can't wait. It was funny. I was talking to my aunt today because she's a huge fan of the show, and we're talking about the episode, and she's like, "Oh my God." And then I saw your friend Dan, and he's from Dan, and she was so proud because she knew what restaurant he was from because she's heard me talk about him. I think it's super exciting, and maybe you guys should keep an eye out on episode 7 because you might see somebody maybe.
You don't gotta tell me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it was. That was also an awesome experience. To be able to go judge other people's food.
Right. So I want to talk about the local sourcing and how does the role that seasonality and local sourcing plays with your menu development.
Well, if you decide to
touch on it a little bit.
But if you decide to open a restaurant in Wisconsin and you're like, I'm going to cook with the seasons, you have no choice. The seasons are going to dictate what you have, because especially if you want to use as much local stuff as possible. It gets a little hairy in the winter because there's only so much you can do with potatoes and onions. So then we have to look elsewhere for produce because we want to make sure people still come in and eat. But we've been working with Amy's Acres for almost 10 years now, and she has some of the most amazing produce. And so again, she'll send me a list once a week, and I look at the list and I'm like, cool, we want this. And she drops it off, and it's just always fantastic stuff. Mama's Baby Botanic. So we work with her. Mostly like edible flowers, like little herbs, stuff like that. Also fantastic stuff. Happy Farm. Incredible. This is the 3 that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, Milwaukee Microgreens, we worked with them. And we've had other people that we've worked with. Our core farmers. I mean, it's not impossible. You have to really try to make crappy food if you start with really good ingredients, but you can. My point was, if we start with these great ingredients, it's almost impossible for us to put out bad food. You really have to try. And it's a motive. I have a long relationship with them. I know how hard they work at what they do. So it motivates us to do an even better job because I know how hard or how much work and how much money it costs you to grow these carrots or this cabbage or whatever it is we're getting. Same thing with the meat. When we get the rabbits or we get the pig or we get the beef, we try to honor the best we can with this product. This animal gave its life so I could do what I love for a living and eat really well. So we need to make sure we do the best we can and we're not messing around back there.
Right.
I love farmers. We work at the Fondy Farmers. That's a huge favorite one of ours. And Miss Venus, she's the best.
Yeah. So, you talked about how quickly you're making, but really, what goes into that planning process of menu creation? And are you sampling? It's
not as glamorous as you probably think it is.
Everyone says something different.
Yeah. For us, for me, I'll go in this week and I'll look at Trevor and be like, I'm tired of vegetarian. We need a new one. Sometimes I'll be like, I don't need to know it right now. I just want you to start, because sometimes he'll come up with a dish right then and then. I'm like, just think about it for a little bit, and then maybe 2 days later he'll come to me. Based on the weather, like the camusa is perfect for a little bit because it's been cold and gray. That's probably going to come off the menu soon. It might be like, oh, I saw this ingredient on TV, or I thought about something I ate last week, or I don't know, as a fan, I had this amazing dish and it kind of reminded me of this other thing, so I want to do something like that. But it's from a lot of different places. We haven't had octopus on the menu for a while, so we haven't had octopus for a while. And
We had some really good the Top Chef
they
event.
did. They
Yeah, it
did.
was good.
Octopus is one of the things that can be either really good, really bad, and that one really, really good. So we'll probably do a starter with next week because we haven't had it on the menu for a while. So then I'll be like, yeah, I've got some citrus. So maybe let's use this for that octopus. So then you just kind of start building upon layers, upon layers, upon layers. Come up with. But again, it's different. Like, I'm sure if you were to talk to a younger chef or younger cook right now, you'd be like, I get my inspiration from TikTok and I get my inspiration from Instagram, and I learned how to watch, which
Right.
is I'm like, I never go online. Like, I'll doom scroll through Instagrams, and I'm like, oh, but like, I'm more of an old school kind of guy. Like, I'll go pull out some books. I'm gonna pull out some books. I'm gonna sit here and look at these books and maybe have a glass of wine and kind of read. I also like to collect menus, so I have a bunch of menus out there.
Okay.
So sometimes I'll be like, oh, I've got all these menus. Let's pull these out.
Right.
It just kind of, comes from a lot of different places.
So does your team chime in or on the menu at all? Or
Well, Trevor and I, yeah, obviously we work together directly and we talk about things. And I'm like, what do you think about this? Or I'm like, I'm thinking about doing this. So yes, like any other chef, it's hard for me to listen to the front of the house staff when they're talking about food. It's also on how they do it.
Yeah.
Like, and what I'm about to say because I've spoken to them about it. Like, if they were coming in, like, because I almost get offended. Like, who are you telling me what to do with my dish? But then if they'll be like, oh, well, we were talking to a table, and I'm about to give my secret. This is how they're going to say it to me every time now. And maybe they're thinking maybe the dish is a little small and might need something else. Then, and we'll ask them. Like, they'll get to try stuff, and I'm like, what do you think? Is it hearty enough? So I do want. I never ask them, what do you think I should put on this dish? There, it's really.
I always like some chefs and restaurants operate differently.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about. Are we good? Okay. I want to go to you're a leader and mentor in diversity, and I want you to shed some light on being kind of a equity champion in the hospitality field or industry.
Call me an equity champion.
Really?
I didn't know I was that, but I'll take it.
And
Well, I mean,
you're really known to, lead by example as it pertains to diversity and equity.
We try. I'm not perfect. I'm sure I've made mistakes in the 9 years that we've been open, but you learn from your mistakes. That was, I'm half Latino. Who am I going to discriminate against? Seriously, people. Let's be honest. So, why not hire a trans lady to be the host? Or, we had a guy work the salad station who had a monitor once. Why that doesn't prevent him from doing a good job and from being a good human. We all made mistakes in our life. We all just there were shady, but look at me now. So everybody deserves. Also, it's kind of boring if you go
Right.
like how boring is that? And I've never understood that. Like people who just only hang out with people that are like them. Like, and I'm sure I'm gonna get some hate mail over this, but it just feels like so boring. Like open up your life and meet new people who are from different socioeconomic backgrounds and maybe different gender. It goes back to me wanting to help everybody, sometimes to my detriment. I've got the space, so how do we use it not only to feed people, but to help people and make our community better? I'm a believer when one of us is successful, we're all successful.
Absolutely.
And so, Wolf on Broadway, Wolfgang, before the restaurant opened, I think it was maybe about 2 years ago, he called me and he said, there's a new story breaking today. I'm about to open a new restaurant right around the corner from you. And I was like, great. I'm like, I'm so excited. And he's like, aren't you mad? And I was like, what? And he's like, no. And I'm like, then I don't care.
Right.
Welcome to the neighborhood. The more people we have in the neighborhood, the more foot traffic we're all going to get. What? He's like surprised. And I'm like, why? Really big of an hole? Like, why? And he's like, no. He's like, I just don't. I would never expect that kind of response from a chef.
Yeah.
Or like from a competitor, or like he was surprised is that somebody will be like, "Yeah, what can we do to help you?"
Right.
I, also it's kind of also goes back to like, when I go talk to a table, I think when people go into restaurants, maybe not so much now, but people have this idea, oh, the chef must do everything. Well, 8 arms, I
Right,
can't
right.
cook everything. So I've got
It's
people
gotta
working
be a
for me.
team.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I'll go talk to a table and be like, oh my God, I love that. Cool.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, they're surprised that I go back into the kitchen. It's like, Trevor, table 8 loved their iceberg. And I got into a fight with the restaurant owner once because he saw me doing that. And he's like,
Mhm.
well, you're the chef and you need to take credit for everything. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I am pretty confident in myself and what I do. I don't need to take credit for other people's work. Gross.
Right.
Yuck.
Right.
And if I do that, then what's going to motivate this kid to give me his life? And like, he spends more time with me than he does with his wife. Like what is going to motivate him to work
Mhm.
his tail off?
Yeah.
Come on. So I don't know. So again, it goes back to being nice. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be nice.
It doesn't. So tell us about some popular whether it's food, drink.
So
What your menu
yeah,
changes
major changes.
frequently.
So, I would say like going back to those dishes that recipes for chicken peri peri is a big one. It's based on a dish from Portugal. It uses a bird's eye chili that is originally from West Africa, I believe. It made its way to Portugal through the slave trade. And it's a super spicy chicken dish. It's normally eaten with French fries.
Mm.
We're a little bit more elevated, so we don't do French fries. So then we try to think of what kind of starch item. That one's fun. Stew that we talked about earlier, the pork pool party. That one is super popular. What else? Tongue. Whenever we put tongue on, like
Okay,
it's just
really?
yeah, and rabbit. We put rabbit on the menu. We have a rabbit. Pretty popular. As far as starters, never came up with this blue cheese cheesecake, which sounds a little odd, and we use this blue cheese from Spain called Cabrales, which is a mixture of like cow, sheep, and goat, and it's pretty strong, but really popular. Drink wise, we're drinking right now called the Lion's Tail, which seems to be very well received. And then we have an apricot. You'd have to ask Blaine.
Do you know the base?
I
Is
know
it
the name.
tequila?
I do not know because I don't. I'm not a big drinker,
Okay,
and so
okay.
and now that I know Blaine runs that, I know nothing about the bar in my own restaurant, which is a testament to how good he is.
Right.
And all three
A
of
lot
them,
of trust.
a lot of trust. But Blaine, Carey, and Lance all collaborate. The Lion's Tail I know is people already know. There's an apricot side, which is really popular too. People keep ordering that. They also make their own. We make our own tonic. Blaine will make tonic, so I'll have like a summer tonic, a winter tonic.
Okay.
I think it's getting winter tonic. I'm not sure. It'll be delicious.
So what keeps you inspired? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, like people that I work with, and seeing them come into this restaurant that's not theirs and give 120%. So that is also the fact that I love what I do, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
There was a period of time where, as I said earlier, not on the straight and narrow. And this is when I was in California.
Mhm.
And the one thing that really got me to, get back in line was the fact that I think about I haven't cooked professionally in X amount of months, and this is passing me by, and I really love doing this. So I better get myself together so I can do this again. So
Right.
just to love for what I do, and going out to eat, traveling, my friends, I have a really tight knit group of friends, and they love. They're all actually very good cooks too.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of funny because whenever we get together, I never have to cook. They know not to ask me to bring food.
That's how it should be.
I just show up with the fork. In fact, after this, I'm gonna go eat at my friend Erica's house, and I know it's gonna be amazing. Incredible.
I love that.
Yeah, yeah. And just seeing people come in and be, oh my God, I had a good time. We're celebrating my grandma's 80th birthday. I just graduated.
Yeah.
I celebrated my divorce. Whatever it is, see that and leave happy.
Yeah.
That's a big.
What's one piece of advice you want to leave with our listeners, aspiring chef, aspiring person?
Just
a couple.
Okay, I got a
Share
couple.
one or
So
two.
first of all, don't go into this because you're going into this business for the wrong reason. Go into this business because you like to cook and you like to feed people. If it's in the cards for you to be rich and famous, so be it, and it'll happen. If you respect what you do, And you give credit where credit is due. Like, just do that. Like,
Yeah.
again, these people are giving us their lives. Like, as I said earlier, I spend more time with Trevor than he does with his wife.
Mhm.
So if he's doing a great job and he's made a dish that's amazing, then give him credit. And, chef is just a word. It's a title. It's better than anything else in the restaurant. In fact, people don't call me that in the restaurant. I don't like. Um,
Yeah.
You put your pants on the same way as everybody else, one leg at a time.
Right.
So those are my 3 pieces of advice.
I love it. Well, I'm so glad that you joined me today.
This is amazing.
Every week. Class. So can you tell our listeners how to find you, how to stay connected?
So to stay connected, you can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram, you can go to Threads, and you can go to what used to be called Twitter. Just look for Amalinda, AMINDA, MP, one word. Or you can find me on Instagram. It's Chef Review. It's the same on. I don't know if I had to get it because they suspended my last one because I was fighting. And they can find us at 315 East Wisconsin Avenue. That's in Wisconsin, Broadway, and Milwaukee. We're open Wednesday through Saturday, 5 to 9. Saturdays because we're really. You can walk in on Wednesdays and Thursdays. If you don't mind the chef's counter or the bar, you're set.
Mhm.
But if you want a table, make a reservation.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, thank you all for tuning in. You can follow my foodie journey at Samantha Starr Events both on Facebook and Instagram. And then beginning next week, our show times will change from 5 to 7 to 4 to 5 p.m. on WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM, The Voice. So make note of the new change. The same great content, same great people. And we'll see you next week at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.